I'm sure you're aware that most mobile racing games across app stores are absolute butt cheeks, but that isn't the case with Pixel X Racer. Kind of. For as good as this game is and the potential it has, there are quite a few flaws. So this is Pixel X Racer. Trust me, this game is not based off of Twitter. Fortunately enough, it was made by Hunt Red Games, and the start of the game is very familiar. They even let me choose my own avatar. There seems to be a strange selection of characters. Is that moist critical? After choosing your avatar, you then need to choose your first car. Hey, don't I know you from somewhere? Oh yeah, you're that guy. You then get to choose between 5 different cars, with the last 3 offering an ad for you to be able to purchase them for free. Well, not for free, but they'll give you the gems to then buy it. I wouldn't consider this the first problem, but wouldn't it make sense to just, I don't know, give it to you for free? It worked out for me though, because I watched an ad, bought a cheaper car, and pocketed the rest of the gems. That might have been why they did it too, but I don't know. After I bought the car, I got to name it too. There then was this little starting animation where my car pulled up and the game started. That was pretty cool. When it comes to racing, there's 4 different modes: drag, street, career, and online. The game will force you to do drag first, so I'll get into the other ones in a little bit. There's also a tutorial on how to launch your car for the manual mode, so it's good for new players, or people who don't know how to play drag racing games. Similar to other games, there's a quarter mile, half mile, and 1 mile option. I like the times of days and different cars on each card. It's a nice touch. And the starting background is also pretty cool too. This is another game that does the pixel art style really well. There's 2 modes, manual and automatic, but now it's time to race, and hold on, a racing fee? This is our first problem. Some people might not find an issue with this, but here's the thing. The racing fee doesn't do anything. It's not like a bet where you could put money in and potentially double it up. You're just paying money just to pay it. So instead of getting 575 coins, you're actually getting 298. This doesn't make any sense. You're just paying money for the love of the game. Mr. Munchies over here will tell you to warm up your tires for a better launch. And here's where we run into the next issue. It's not that you have to warm your tires. Many drag racing games have this mechanic too, but it's that you automatically start off in neutral. So to warm up your tires, you have to upshift, then hold the brake, then floor it. I don't know why they wouldn't start you in first gear. This just feels like an unnecessary step. And it especially doesn't make sense since after you're done warming up your tires, since you're in first gear, you'll automatically launch. So you have to hold the brake, then downshift back to neutral. But then once the staging starts, you have to upshift back into first so you can launch. You see how this one unnecessary feature kind of just ruins the entire start of the race? Now, this isn't the end of the world, but it is a little tedious. I did get used to it after a bit, but I did occasionally forget to up and downshift. As far as the racing goes, it's pretty fine. What you would expect from any drag racing game. I will say though that the entire outcome of your race depends on your launch. So there's this weird thing you have to do where you don't launch right when the light goes green, but more like a millisecond beforehand. And it's weird because if you're too early, you'll get a false start, but if you take off right when the light turns green, your opponent will destroy you. And this stays consistent no matter how much you upgrade your car. Well, at least with the one I have. I haven't tested the other ones. You do get extra money for perfect shifts, but that doesn't offset the racing fee in my opinion. It also doesn't help that if you lose, you're out of the money you paid for the racing fee. No joke, after fitting some upgrades, I actually couldn't afford the racing fee, so I had to play street mode just to earn some money. Yeah, I think having a racing fee is just stupid. You could argue it makes the game more realistic and immersive, but when it can prohibit you from playing an entire game mode, it just feels like a poorly executed idea. You do have an option to watch an ad and double your reward, which I highly recommend because this game is a bit of a grind. The ads are really stupid, but you get the same ones over and over, so it's no mystery. I then got this wicked poster for a Porsche Taycan. It even has a barcode. There's also a level system too, so you can use the points you earn every time you level up to increase your XP or your rewards. In the street section, there's 2 modes, cruise and... oh, touge. Kinda like you. Cruise mode is just an endless driver, but I would like to take the time to talk about how smooth the game is. The gameplay is definitely immersive, from the car lunging forward to the screen shaking once you catch higher speeds. I don't see this in a lot of games, so I appreciate the effort put into this. You don't get much money from this though. The most I got was like 200, but the fact you get any money from this game mode anyways is pretty cool. Even if possibly at some point this might be the only way to get any. And of course there's a freaking rotary in the loading screen. The RX-8 has to slime its way into each of these videos, huh? The RX-7 ain't safe too. You're also trash. Don't think those smooth body lines and smoked out taillights will save you from me. You're just as bad as your little brother. You're just worth 50 grand instead of 5. Touge is very simple. You just smoke your opponents and that's it. Very fun and easy way to make money. Not you though. You're too gay. Then there's the career mode, and it's actually pretty cool. You race this guy named Sam who really likes your car, and after you beat him, he takes you to meet his friend. This friend, Madison, wants to race me too. So, sure. I'll show her what I got. Wait, why don't you want to race? Meh, your car is too basic? Excuse me? Do you mind repeating that? What do you mean basic? I'll have you know my car is freaking awesome. That hat's basic. That hair's basic. That shirt's basic. Them shoes basic. You couldn't fathom the insurmountable swag my car possesses. Your car looks like Thanos' left nutsack. And it's a Miata? But I'm basic? Okay. I think this is a good time to talk about the upgrade section. Not because I fitted upgrades to absolutely dismantle our car into itty bitty Lego pieces, but because I didn't play the rival mode, so yeah. The garage takes you to this place called Cars On, which is pretty funny. Here you can buy multiple different body and performance upgrades. It's even all organized, so it's easy to find stuff, just like Amazon. But here's where Cars On and Amazon differentiate. While Amazon has a plethora of high quality to incredibly questionable products, Cars On is actually just lacking in products in general. In terms of body upgrades, there really weren't a lot of them, and they looked really bad in my opinion. Now while I can't tell if this is a Mark IV Jetta or a Volvo S60, whichever it is looks much better stock and lowered. There weren't a lot of bumpers, fenders, or spoilers that I could choose from. There were a lot of wheels, but I didn't really care too much about that, I'm gonna be honest. Especially since I planned on buying a different car eventually. In terms of the performance upgrades, they're pretty simple. They're stage 1 to 4. It's a lot more helpful to people who don't care to be intricate about tuning. Then there's the NOS. You see, the thing about the NOS is, when you use it, you have to hold the button to use the entire thing. Yes, even in manual mode. So lo and behold, this is not helpful. Especially since when you use it, it pushes you to redline quicker. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know why they didn't make it a one-time press. I found it to be really annoying and I just stopped using it since I didn't need it anyways. Because regardless if I use it, if I have a bad launch, I'm not winning the race. And what's racing without cars? Well, it would be a foot race, but this is a segue, so shut up. At the dealership, you can buy and sell various types of cars. Oh wait, I mean just cars, cause there aren't a lot of them. You see, there's only 29 cars in the game. Now this wouldn't be that big of an issue if the cars themselves weren't so expensive. See, after the Mark I Golf, the cars just shoot up in price, and they all cost diamonds, and the only way to get diamonds is to level up, or, you know, buy them. Which I don't blame the devs, the game is not even 2 years old, but don't you think you could have gotten a little more cars in there? Maybe they couldn't have. I know licensing and stuff can be expensive, and I'm not sure about all the workarounds here, but I'm not gonna lie, this really hinders the game. I've said before that the concept of drag racing is incredibly repetitive, which at times can get boring, especially when you're grinding. So to do all that grinding only to have a limited amount of customizations, and on top of that a limited amount of cars you're able to buy, makes it really hard to even want to grind in the first place. Again, this game is super new, so this could drastically change in the future, but for now, this is a really bad place to be in. And when it comes to the microtransactions, they're really not that bad. There's a lot of bundles and stuff, and obviously you can buy the currencies, but funnily enough, dare I say, some of these prices are too low. For example, it costs $5 for 5,000 diamonds, but for double that, it's $3 more. So for 100% more diamonds, you'd only have to pay 60% more. It makes no sense to spend $5 then, just get the 10,000. Oh wait, but for 150% more diamonds, you just have to spend $2 more. Do you see what I mean? If you have enough money to buy 10,000 diamonds, you likely have enough money to buy 25,000 diamonds, thus rendering the other two options completely useless. I'm not a microtransactions guy, but if you're gonna spend money, you might as well get the best value. I say go for the highest one, it only makes sense. But I couldn't really recommend you to spend money on a game that doesn't really have a lot going for it. As I said, this game is new, so there's a lot more work that needs to be done. As of right now, I would say the game is kind of bad. Not in a, oh, don't ever play this type of way, but more in a wait till it's seasoned type of way. There needs to be way more cars and customizations, and some of the mechanics need to be reworked. But there's quite a bit of charm, and this game has a lot of potential. There can be a lot going on for this game, I just hope they execute on it.